Thanks for tuning in here to Proline TV. And if you haven't showed up here on Proline TV, because we are still, of course, posting our horse racing shows on our horse racing channel over on Horsepower PSN, please make your way over to Proline TV. We have a link in the description. You'll want to subscribe here because soon enough, this is where all of our horse racing program is going to be, or a majority of our horse racing program, and including our bonus picks are still going to be available here on Proline, or at least we're going to be making them available here on Proline TV to make sure that you can come on over here and spend your time with us. And I'm Greg DePalma, Jon Hardoon joining me from the Raggers and Sheets. And John, we have some racing at Aqueduct to talk about. Is it going to snow on Saturday?
Hopefully not. It's going to snow up in Saratoga, but not down at Aqua. By the way, congratulations. You had a nice winner. By the way, people that will listen to this were pretty close to making a score because we ran first, third, and fourth. The two horses I like ran third and fourth. You managed to give out the winner. And those horses, by the way, they were all big prices. The favorite jumped up and kind of messed us up. But that's old news.
That was in the ninth that he messed us up?
The grass race. Yeah, you liked the 6 who won.
Oh, that's right. Me, Hermano, Ramon.
Correct. And
that's because
I liked Easter and the 5 horse. The 5 horse was like 35-1. Easter got bet to 8-1, but your horse I think was 9, 10, 11-1. So you did a great job.
Oh, that was the one where the favorite is that the one where the favorite came in and screwed up the big exacta?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it would have been big too, believe me.
Yes, that screwed us. Otherwise, and then what did we do with the Hollywood? Because the Hollywood Derby, that was the big race last week. And who won that race? That was the 6, right? Was that the 6? That was no, was it?
Was that the Me Hermano? Was that race?
No, the Hollywood Derby was the other. That was race number 9 last week. And trying to remember, I usually write it down here. Who was the winner? I don't know why I didn't do that.
Just tell me, give me some names in the race. I'll tell you who won.
Formidable Man, Donegal Momentum. Adelton.
I think the Formidable Man. What was that? The Jonathan Thomas horse? Was he the trainer?
No, that is Michael McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy.
Stay Hot. Rothschild. Remember Rothschild?
Oh, Rothschild. Yeah, long shot. I'm done with him. They bet him all the way down too. He was horrible. No excuse. Pratt was on him. He was sitting there and came up completely empty.
King of Gosford. Carson's Run.
No, he didn't even win Carson's runs. He was one of the favorites. I don't remember.
Anyway, we didn't win, but that was the big race last week, and unfortunately, we didn't get that one. But hey, 1 out of 2 ain't bad, especially with a nice little priced horse. So we are now going to talk about 2 more races this week. These are going to be at Aqueduct again. And what was last week? Last week was at Del Mar, right?
Yes, sir.
So we're West Coast, East Coast. So we're going on all coasts. Now, there are 3 Grade 2 stakes races at this track. Now, it's 7, 8, and 9. Now, we're doing 9. That's the biggest one of the weekend, the Cigar Mile Handicap. Now, the 7 and 8, those have the 2-year-olds.
Right. There's Derby points and Oaks points involved there. You get 10 points, but they're lightly raced horses. And to be honest with you, the favorites in both of those races, the Chad Brown horse and the Brad Cox horse, really just look like they lay over the field. They're going to be short prices. So people don't want to tune in here to get $3.80 horses. It's just, no, they got better things to do with their time.
Yeah, that's the thing because it looks like the 2 favorites in that race. That's their sheet numbers are just so much better than every other horse in the field. So
yeah, but there's also a problem. As good as they look, there's still question marks because most of those horses have never been that far. They're going 2 turns for the first time, most of them. And, do you want to bet a short price horse on something he's really never done before? Probably not. So they're good races to watch for sure. These are possible future stars of the game.
Yep.
That being said, you don't really want to gamble on those races.
Yeah, you are going to give a free pick away, though, to anybody. And by the way, we're still any free picks that we do provide over on, well, depending on where you're watching this, of course, on Proline TV. Is going to also still be on our Patreon. So as long as we have members that are still paying us on Patreon, anytime we have free picks, not only will they be on Proline, but they're also going to be on our Patreon. And
that's the 10th race at Aqueduct.
10th race.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
so
right.
that's good.
Let's get the show on the road.
So we're going to have a 9th and 10th exact double possibility. So let's start with the 4th. This is the one that we did decide to go on as our second race. The both mile races today. The Go for Wand. It's a grade 3, 200,000 for filly mares, 3-year-olds up. And the favorites, you got the 3 and the 1. You've got a Colt, the 5-2 shot is the 3. The 1 is the 3-1 shot, Tizzy in the Sky. And the big difference here that you notice is the fact that Tizzy in the Sky has not raced since June. So he's on a 6-month layoff. And whereas the 3 is not. So I think that is definitely one of the big things that I noticed, which is why out of the 2 favorites, I would be leaning towards the 3. What about you? How did you break down both of these favorites?
Yeah, I would definitely be leaning towards the 3 also. I mean, recency, the 1 is getting Pratt for the first time, so obviously that counts for something. But she's coming off of a layoff, and she always doesn't do her best running first race back off of a layoff, if you notice. Last year, off of a long layoff, she came back and ran a 26.
Yes.
Even this year off the layoff, she ran a 14. Problem with her is her last race was not good. She did have some trouble in it, but it also resulted in a layoff since June, like you said. So this horse was last seen, by the way, at Saratoga at I guess it was Belmont at Saratoga. This may have even been Belmont Stakes Day when she last ran. It was the Ogden Phipps. It was a stake race on the undercard of the Belmont Stakes. So I think it was the 8th or the 7th. I know they were up in Saratoga for that race. Anyway, all that being said, I would definitely try to beat the 1. I like the 3 the best. Occult, you want hookups? What do you want to go through it? What do you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, if you're taking a look at the only other horses or the horse that I like the 8, excuse me. And I know he doesn't have any single digit numbers, but I like the fact that at least you got Chad Brown with Dylan Davis is having a good meet. He's got some wins at this racetrack. He's very consistent this year, all 11s and 12s. That's a good sign. And it's not a great field. It's a field that could definitely be up and be down. So yeah, I'm probably going to go with a 3-8 deal. So you're going to go 3 on top, and who else you like?
I'm putting the 7 and 8 underneath. Ain't Broke and Shitta Bitty Booty, like you said. Ain't Broke's also coming off of a long layoff, but she'll at least be a price. She runs well fresh. It's Linda Rice, always dangerous, and 3 for 6 at Aqueduct, 2 for 6 at the distance. So the horse certainly could handle the track. 3 was 7-8.
Yeah, the 7 and the 8 both have 3 out of 6 wins at Aqueduct, so that's good statistically speaking. That's not a bad it's not a bad idea for both of those horses. Okay, so there you go. A bunch of 5 and 6 to 1 shots, but
this is the Go for Wand Stakes, by the way. It was the 4th race on Saturday.
So and that's going to go off a little after 1:00 Eastern on Saturday. So now the big race of the week, and that is the Cigar Mile Handicap. It's a mile race, $500,000 purse, 3-year-olds and up. And the morning line favorites, you have 4 that are kind of next to each other, but the main favorite is Mulligan, the 5 at 3-1. Then you have the 11 post time at 7-2. You have the 1 Bookham Dano at 4-1, and the 7 locked at 9-2. So this is a really good race. Let's go through the field starting at the top. John, we'll start with the 1. Bookham Dano at 4-1 shot. Very solid and consistent this year. The sheet numbers say 6s, 8s, 9s. The horse has a grade 1 win. That was the race at Saratoga in June. By the way, notice that the horse was on the rail in that race, which is where he's at Saturday. Is there a big difference between being on the rail at Saratoga compared to Aqueduct?
No, I mean, it's a mile shoot race, so you really don't. It's a little bit of a disadvantage breaking from the inside, but you could certainly win from there. Don't get me wrong. And listen, you can make a case honestly for at least 4 or 5 horses in this race. Bookham Dano could win, Mulligan could win, Locked could win, Senya Buscador has a shot. Post time ran second in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Mulligan ran third and was the favorite in the sprint race. So this race is really loaded with some really nice horses. Bookham Dano is another one of them.
Okay, the 2 is a long shot, and then we're going to try to give you at least one of them. Nelson Avenue, one of those 30-1 shots. I mean, Wayne Potts is certainly off to a nice start so far here at Aqueduct. So is Dylan Davis. Ran an 8 2 starts ago. So that's the thing that definitely sticks out, including the fact that the trainer and the rider are as good as you're going to get in this race, or at least during this meet. So what about Nelson Avenue as one of the long shots?
Well, this is a claiming horse. This doesn't even belong in this race. I mean, if he was going to decide to run that 1-8 that he once ran, yeah, he has a shot. But I don't think he's going to run it. I don't like this horse at all.
Let's go with the 3. Repo Rocks, another 30-1 long shot. It does have a grade 3 win. That was, I believe, back in May of 2023. So that was last year when he ran a 3. Yeah. But the horse is getting older now. He's 6 years old, even though it's only been a year. But you do notice the fact that ever since the 3, he's only had one single digit. Since then, that was a 9 in August.
Yeah, they should put RIP on the sheets, because when you run a number like that, it usually finishes you. I mean, he was a 5-year-old. He ran a 3. He actually ran a 4 2 years ago. This horse is trained by Jamie Ness, who does a lot of magical things with horses. He moves them way up. But he's had this horse. Dutro's had this horse. This horse is finished. I don't like him. Done.
So 4 is Vinsanity, a big long shot at 50-1 that ran an 11 in October. That race at Aqueduct, that was the win in a claiming race. But this horse has only won twice in 20 starts.
Yeah, no, he's too slow. Doesn't belong.
The 5 is Mulligan. Now, Mulligan it does look like the horse to beat here. You got Pratt on board. That's always good. If you take a look at grade 1 win, a grade 2 win, has the win at Aqueduct, coming off the Breeders' Cup sprint race. By the way, if you look at that race, he was the favorite in that race. He was in the 10th post position, so I think he does have a little bit of an excuse there, because he likes to be on the pole, wasn't able to get there. Also, if you take a look at the numbers, 7, 7, 5, 6, 8, that's really excellent. But the horse has never run a mile. He wants to lead. So is that a little bit of something to be concerned about, a horse that wants to lead and it hasn't stretched out yet to a mile?
Well, he doesn't necessarily need to lead. There are races, the bottom race at Oakland, he got beat a nose coming from way out of it that day. The problem, and you hit it on the nose, the problem is he's never been this far, and he's going to be the favorite. I don't want to bet a favorite doing something. I would include this horse. I would never key him. So for that reason, I'm not putting him on top. He certainly has a chance. If he wins, I wouldn't be shocked, but I'm not playing him as the favorite, considering he's never been this far.
Yeah, the interesting thing about this race is you've got the Mulligan, that was the morning line favorite, who wants to lead. He wants to go coast to coast. And then you've got the 11, which we'll talk about later, post time, who also is coming off a Breeders' Cup race, but post time is a closer. So nice little dynamic there with those 2 top morning line favorites. All right, let's go with the 6, Law Professor. And this is the long shot that I want to put into my exotics. I like the fact that he's got the 6 just a few starts ago, bounced to the 22, and then came right back to the 9 with a win at Aqueduct. Also, if you just look at the form in the last 5 races at Aqueduct, 9, 6, 10, 10, 8. Always likes to race here. 5 wins out of 7, getting 15-1. So I'm definitely putting Law Professor in my exotics.
Well, on his best day, he certainly has a shot. There's no doubt about it. He goes back to Rob Actress, who trained him last time out when he got the 9 back out of him. The race 2 starts back. He shipped to Oakland. Problem I have with this horse is that he went back on Lasix to run the 9 last time out. 2 starts back, when he ran the 22, it was without Lasix. Well, maybe it was the wet track that he didn't like. I don't know. I could see making a case for him. I just think that he's seen better days. Again, he could certainly win. But I'm not using him. But I could see people that want to use him. I could see making a case for him.
The 7 is locked, as you mentioned before, 9-2 shot. You get Velasquez back-to-back after winning the last race with this horse. This is a Pletcher horse, has a grade 1 win. That was the win just before the Breeders' Cup Juvie race, What's interesting here is, you look at a horse that comes out last year in August, nothing special. A 13 is okay. Comes up with a 9.
13 is good, but go ahead.
For the first race, it's very good. Second race, very good again, 9 and a win, and blitzed the field there. And all of a sudden, he's the morning line. He's the favorite, excuse me, for the Grade 1 race in his third start. Wins that one, and it's the favorite in the Breeders' Cup Jubilee race after 3 starts. It doesn't go well for him there, even though he runs a solid number, a 9. But then I got to ask a question then. So he doesn't race in nearly a year, so I'm not sure what happened there. But he comes out his first race in an optional claimer. So why is that? Why would a trainer go out there and say, okay, look at this horse, he looks really good, I'm going to put him in an optional claimer his first time out?
What they did, what I'm assuming they did, is the track wrote a race for the horse. Pletcher had a horse that was that was the favorite in last year's Breeders' Cup Juvenile Stakes. Okay. He has the horse ready to come back to racing. There's no race for him. So the racing secretary goes and puts a race together for him. And that's what they did. They would have run him anywhere. They needed a place to run him. So that's why they ran him there. The race was written for him that day. Okay.
And it was a solid showing after a year off with a 7.
This is my top selection. This horse is very strong. When you see a 2-year-old run 2 9s, you have the potential to be a serious horse, and I think this horse has the makings of a serious horse. To run 2 9s and then come out as a 3-year-old and run a 7, that's strong.
Yes. Now, unfortunately, he's already 3. It would have been nice to see what he would have done if he was 2. But anyway,
he showed you what he did as 2. He won 2 races.
It was a little late in the year, unfortunately. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we want to have but he could have a really big 2025. So we're going to keep our eye on lock.
He's going to be 4 years old next year, and he's going to be a stakes winner. He's going to be a stakes winner after the Cigar Mile on Saturday.
So being an optional claimer and winning the race, does that mean that anybody could have claimed the horse?
No. Optional claimer means you're in the race to either be claimed or not to be claimed. And there were horses to get enough horses in the field. They made it an optional claimer.
Okay. So optional meaning like if somebody wants the horse, what happens?
No, the trainer has the option to run him for a tag or not for a tag. But you state that before the race is
over. Before the race. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So basically, you have a field
called an optional claim. Whatever.
Okay. So some horses in the race, when it starts, you can claim them. Some you can't.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So that's the 7 locked. Now move on to the 8 pipeline, one of the long shots. I don't like the fact you got a long shot who doesn't really show anything at this distance or at Aqueduct. The good thing is he's coming off at 8, his last time out, going wire to wire at Churchill. He ran some good numbers, a couple of 6s, but that was a couple of years ago when he was 4 years old. Again, we're looking for a long shot. Would this be a long shot, or have we not hit the long shot for you yet?
No.
Okay. No. The 9 is Senor Buscador, and we do just about every one of his races. 6-1 shot. I remember you mentioning in the Breeders' Cup Classic that you felt that maybe he was, I don't know whether he was burnt out or he's getting old or whatever the case may be, but he didn't show there as far as the result. But he did run to 7.
Yeah, he's 6 years old. I could see using him if you want. Listen, he's a solid horse. Cover the 14 that he ran 2 starts back, and every other race is right there, isn't it? So yes,
it is. Is the 6-1 okay?
Not only that, this is a 1-turn mile, so it's not 2 turns, so I think this horse is better around 1 turn. His running style, personally, he's going to be a lot longer than 6-1. I think that's a bad morning line, even though he did run in the Breeders' Cup Classic last time out, so maybe he will take some money, but I'm using this horse.
Okay. Yeah. And by the way, Rosario is off to a really good start.
At Aqueduct.
Correct. Okay. Coastal Mission, a 12-1 shot. And Coastal Mission's got a grade 3 win. What I like about Coastal Mission here, a couple things. First of all, you got to be impressed by 14 wins out of 25. That's really good. He's over $1 million. He ran a 5 in his last race at Aqueduct. There should be his second to last race at Aqueduct. That was in July. That 7 furlong grade 2 race. and he finished second by just a little bit over a length to the current favorite of the race, Mulligan. So now since then he's run 10s, but he does have wins in his last 2 races.
So that's the whole point. Early this year, he ran a 7, finally got back to a 5. And since he ran that 5, the last 3 races, even though he won 2 of the 3, numbers-wise, they're not good. You know, they're really basically the worst races he's run this year, 10, 10, 10. Before that, he had a 5, a 9, a 9, a 7. You know, I don't like him. I don't. I think he's tailing off, even though he won.
Okay. 11, Post Time. Now, here is the second choice we talked about. Now, this is one of those up and down horses.
That's what we call an alternating line. Good race, bad race, good race, bad race.
Yep. Now he's coming off a 7, and that means that he might be having a bad one. And it could be a double digit because his last 3 bad ones have been in the double digits.
Correct.
But yeah, we could see why he's the second choice. He's coming off finishing second in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Ran a 7 in that race. This is the closer, so he's going to need a really, a favorable pace. We'll see if that'll happen.
A duel up front.
So what do you like or don't like about Post Time?
I don't like the price, and I know he's going backwards, so why would I like him?
Simple.
Give
me a long shot in the field. Who's your favorite long shot?
Long shot would probably be your horse, Law Professor.
Okay.
If I had to pick a big bomb, that would be it. But
all right. Bruce Goodar might go off at 15-1.
I don't think so because he's coming out of the Breeders' Cup Classic. Maybe. Okay. Listen, but I'm not betting the favorite. I'm betting a horse that's 9-2, and I think you'll get the 9-2 unlocked. I like the 7. I'm putting them in exactas over the 1 Bookham Dano, the 5 Mulligan, and the 9 Senor Buscador. 7 over 1, 5, and 9.
All right. And I'm going to go with the 5, and I'm going to go with the 5 over the 1 and the 6 Law Professor. So those are the 2 big marquee races we're handicapping here today. Now, if anybody has not yet become a member on Patreon or has relinquished their memberships on Patreon, the rest is not for you. But all you have to do, simple, is go over free to YouTube. If you're watching YouTube right now, so all you have to do is go to our new channel, Proline TV. The link's in the description. We have 2 links. We have one in the description area. Just click the more button. If you see you don't know where it is, just click more. Or at the top of the comment section, I pin the link at the very top. We're going to just take a look at that. Click the link to Proline TV. Boom, you're right there. And then you'll be able to find out the entire show, which is not edited because we're going to leave now here for you. And by the way, these shows that you're watching right now are only available on the day of the races here on Horsepower PSN. So if you want to find out what's going on Thursdays, go over to Proline TV and watch the races, watch the show, which will be posted every Thursday. Next week, we might post on Friday, depending on John's schedule, but it's always usually Thursday or Friday at Proline TV. So for everybody on YouTube, don't forget still like, share, subscribe. Still do that here on Horsepower PSN because, hey, if for whatever reason you want to hang out here, that's great. No problem. Just make sure you subscribe at least. Don't forget to subscribe over on Proline TV as well so you don't miss a thing. We'll see you next time.